Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for another indie comic review, and in this indie comic review I am covering The Phantom, issue number 1974 and 1975, as this is also covering a two-part story called The Battle of Berlin. Now, as I shared on the video this week, or for this week, for the first week of September 2024, I also lost a relative, and I must say I am sort of thankful for this relative, because one of the things that he also enjoyed was the character of the Phantom. And this is why I'm covering the character of the Phantom. And this will quite likely go up on a Monday, so it will be a Devil Dog Monday. So, let's get started in relation to the review of The Battle of Berlin, Part 1 and Part 2. Now, starting off with first things first, do these covers in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? The first one sort of does, to which I give it a 7 out of 10. But I feel that the second cover, which connects to the next issue, does actually a slightly better job, and it does sort of like give you a bit of an insight as to who this Battle of Berlin is, or who they are actually connected to in the world of the Phantom, to which I give this cover of issue 1975 a 7.5 out of 10. I'll now move into the area of the internal art of the first and second, as we have a look around the beginning, middle, and of course the end, and also what is happening story-wise with the characters. So we've got the first one here. It does have a bit of a backup story, but I won't be covering the backup story. So as we now move into having a look at the first part, as we start to move into the beginning, we see that this story has a bit of a interesting introduction through publications, and as you can look at it, it's almost done like something in cinema. But take note of this clue, because this clue is actually important in the story. So as the story begins, we start off in Berlin, Germany. And, of course, we meet someone known as Die Fledermaus, or in other words, the Bat. We see that this is the villain, but we don't know who this villain's connected with yet. As we jump towards the middle of the story, we have finally the appearance of the character of the Phantom, or Kit Walker, and one of his friends, who is also on the scene in Germany by the name of Malika. And whilst this is occurring, we also have like other people who are trying to investigate who this Fledermaus is. Until, last but not least, we move to a scene which takes us to where the cinematography is taking place, and we learn that there might actually be some clues here that might lead to who this villain might be. So moving into part 2, of course we have the same thing being used again, and remember that clue. Of course, there's a bit of a shootout on set, this time involving live bullets, as they seek the suspect out. Of course, the character of the Phantom returns with the help of Malika. And of course, we get to see a little bit more as to what is happening on set. And then the story ends as we learn that the character of the Bat of Berlin manages to get away. So for the internal art, I give it a 7.5 out of 10, as it was consistent between both parts within the story. Next is the area of the story itself. I'm not going to worry about the indication of comic book references or any previous stories, because this is like a one-off story between 2 issues. So moving into the first thing that covers the area of the story, and that is time, as which we learned that this takes place in 1936. We also have 2 hours later to 2 weeks later to next day and later being used throughout both of the issues. Next is the location, to which we learn it takes place in Berlin, Germany. And last but not least, the cast of characters, to which we have the Phantom, Kit Walker, Maleka. We also have Dr. Strauss, who makes an appearance. There are some other characters in there, but I felt if it would probably might end up being too many on the cast list to add. And of course, the villain known as Fledermaus, or the Battle of Berlin. Overall, I give this story an 8 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.